And here we go. All right. So, what am I doing this time? Well, here's what I've got. I've got 41 pieces of virgin brass left that I need to finish shooting. And I've prepared them all the same. So this is just virgin brass, very light chamfer on them, chamfer deburr, expanded with a 284 gauge pin, and that's it. Okay. And this is what tested best the other day. Now, here's what I did find. And, again, I don't want to say that the press is what definitely made me realize it, but it did definitely help point it out, is that I just picked up this particular arbor die, and I was having a little bit of trouble. Some of you might have seen it in my video, and it's not uncommon. I mean, other shooters do it, but I've got just a little tool that occasionally, if a piece of brass doesn't pop out freely, you can just easily pull it out without damaging anything. And I had to do that on more than I would like the other day, which led me to believe that, while I'm trying to conduct tests as accurately as possible, there was probably a little bit of error in that one. I think that some of the brass was having to work a little bit harder. So I actually took my chamber reamer and cleaned up this particular die, because it occurred to me that this brass is running roughly 316, 317 loaded at the neck, and Sammy's spec on these is probably 316, so it was really tight on some of them. Like, some would fit at 315.5 and some at 316. They were getting a little stuck. So I actually took my chamber reamer and just reamed it right out. That takes it to a 320 neck in there, which won't affect seating. And we're going to see if that helps get us even slightly better results. So again, it's all about tweaking the process. Look, I'm human. I make mistakes. I am not a scientist or statistician. Like I've said, I'm doing the best I can to accurately document this. So my goal is that tonight I'm going to have some blow-offs, and I'm going to need 20 rounds for record. I'm going to push all of these, and then I'm going to take the 20 that have the most similar overlap and put those aside as my record rounds, and then if I have a few extra, those will be my final blow-offs or sighters, and we'll kind of work our way backwards. So let's just get going. First thing I need to do, I've already zeroed the press. As soon as you plug it in, it says, do you want to zero it? So I zeroed it. I do need to set the x-axis 0 on it though, and you can see here, I'm clicking on finding the X0. So now it says success. Okay. And we are now ready to go. So I do have a piece of paper here for orientation purposes, and I am going to simply make the 5 rows over here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then if I have particular items, and I'm going to make sure that my loading block, I know it's oriented with the bullet tray on the right. So we are going to start right here in the bottom left, and let's see. Yeah, see, those fit. I mean, honestly, they fit a little better. Oh, that's a nice curve. And, they pop out properly. I am going to be putting these all back into the loading block for now, and then I will sort them into my actual ammo box. Now, these first 6 are leftovers from the other day. I had actually mixed up a few pieces of brass. I do expect that these first ones, we're going to see some variation. Well, it's still just a little stuck. Maybe I didn't clean it out enough. Yeah, these last couple. But I don't know what I did to these. Hopefully when I get into the other ones, it'll be a little better. Hang on one second. was funky. All right, well, hopefully after this brass in this row, it will be more consistent. So the majority of these have been on that lower spread there. All right, so that's where we're at there. And you can see, people have pointed out, like that's the initial until it hits right here and then starts applying force. So, okay. All right, let's see what these do. Yeah, much better. Oops. Let me move this over just a little bit. Now these are all, I mean, they're all looking really good to each other. That one definitely went in easier. That was at the bottom of the curve there. And the one thing I have to remember is I started on the right. So for the purposes of where I was at, so this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So on round number 12, which is where I started over here, I'm going to make a note that it was 12 working that way, because I'm going to need to ultimately find the rounds, and these 30, I'm going to pull the best 20 out of those 30, or at least I don't know if they're the best, but I'm going to pull the 20 that are the closest out of those 30. That one was really low. And again, we're working in that same orientation. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So then 22. We're going that way. Really important that you make sure you remember the order that you load it in, no matter how you're doing it. 10 more to go. And again, we're going to make sure that we put 32 and then that way. So now I know it's going that direction for when I start calling out the rounds. Almost there. It creates quite the fan over here between high and low, so we'll look in a second and see how big that spread is. Alright, last one. Alright, so if we look at this, if I click on that one, oops, if I look at this one here, let's see. So this one was 18, it's saying 18 pounds on this lowest one, and on this highest one up here, that one's up here, it's 149 if I'm reading it correctly. So what I'm really going to want to do is pull out the ones that are through the middle here that look like they are all kind of in the 80s and 90s. It seems like that's kind of the major thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and get back to you guys in a minute here. All right, let's get started right now. Okay, so there we go. I have got the program. Oh, shoot, hang on a second. All right, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. So we have our traces in a row over here. So this is just the order. Oops. I'm so used to my Mac. Okay. So let me move this back over here. And there we go. And so we've got these, and these are in the order of trace, meaning process. So, you know, this was number 26, 27, 28. And I've already talked about how I know on my block here where 12, 22, and 32 start. And I've got my ammo box here. Now, there's a couple ways that the system or the program automatically lets you kind of view things here. So if I go up into the corner here, you can see that there is sorting by trace number, which just puts them in this numerical order. I can do it by peak force, which means the ultimate force that was used to sort them, and that's represented over here on the right side of the column. And then there is this work done, which is sort of the middle number here. That shows you through the line what's being done. And I kind of like this work done number, and I'll tell you why. If I sort by peak force, then there are times where I'd be tempted to say, you know, like this is 86.7, 87, 88. But then see how this one has this weird spike over here where it goes up and then comes back down. And it says 76, 78, whereas around it it's 58, 65, 62, 52. And so I'm wondering if that indicates, you know, just a little bit more erratic seating pressure, total pressure across the work. So let me see what happens here. If I sort by work done, and let's say I go through the middle here, so I've got, you know, starting at 52, 5,200, and then going up to, let's say, 7,000. So I need to go from, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So I would have to go from about 5,200 to 7,600 on the work done number. So this one here, if I look, is right in that range, and then if I go to 5,200, it's down here. So it sort of slices out this middle, and then my seating pressure at the end, my max force would be starting around 75, give or take, and ending up somewhere around 100. Whereas if I go by peak force, I would probably be starting around 75 and going to about 98, but I would have, that's really close. So I'll tell you what, just for the sake of making it easy, I'm going to just sort by the overall work done number. I don't know why, I just feel like shooting that one tonight. So let's go ahead, excuse me. Let's go ahead and pull these. Now I've got room for my ammo in here, and I've got a few more pieces of brass than I do box, and that's another story. But the bottom line is we're going to put in the 20 that I want on the bottom here, and then these top 16 are going to be blow off and ciders. So I think what I'm going to do is, if I'm trying to find, I'm so not used to this computer. Okay. If I start up here, then that's really small. And if I go to the top end here, it's, so I feel like I need to pull the middle-ish section. So I'm going to start at this 5,200 number. No other reason than it's just an arbitrary number to pick. So I'm going to go ahead, and so first we've got number 14. So 12, 13. So we have number 14. Okay. And I'm just going to make a note what order these are all in. Even though I've got it there, I want to just make a physical note here, even though I can come back to it. So I started on 14, and then we got 13. Okay. And then 32. And then 37, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. All right, well, 5 is down here. I don't want anything below 12. So we're just going to jump to, but, you know, now this is telling me, like, does it really matter? You know what? Well, the problem is I don't remember now if I went left to right or right to left. So I don't want to screw that up. So let's just go to numbers that I know. So 19, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 17, 18, 29, 29, 34, 23. Okay, so that goes to the first number there. So we had 14, 13, 32, 37, 19, 17, 18, 29, 34, and 23. Okay. And now we go to 31. That should be here. So we're going to start with 31 right there. 35, 32, 33, 34, 35. 10, we're going to skip. 27, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 26, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 35, 27, 26, 36, 33, 28, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. How did I screw that up? So what didn't I... Somewhere I pulled the wrong one. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. And here's the real world results of those 20 rounds that I pulled out. Now keep in mind, this target is actually a 500-yard target being shot at 600 yards. So you are seeing a 5-inch circle in the 10 ring there, not a 6-inch circle like you would normally have at 600 yards. So visually this is a little deceptive, but what is important to look at is the numbers on the left there. So you can see I had an overall vertical on 20 shots of 2.86, which, you know, I'm really happy with. If you look at that group, it's a nice group. I did miss one wind call and lost that number 3 shot out the right. Barely caught 9 and 5, of course, but it was a pretty switchy wind. It was pretty tough. This was actually a really good score for the night, and I was really happy with it. I was really happy with how everything got sorted out. Is it perfect? No. Can it get better? Absolutely. But I think we're definitely on a path towards figuring out what this machine can do to help, you know, really get a consistent, reliable load or series of loads out there for you. Just for fun, I had 10 other rounds that I put together from the remaining 41. I kind of went back and looked at the numbers and found 10 more, and I was really happy with how those shot. Let's take a look at those real quick. And just for fun, like I said, I had put together 10 more rounds, and again, I thought they turned out really great. Shot 2.43 inches of vertical. Now, on this particular one, I was not holding for wind in any way. So the entire time, if you look where that number 1 shot is, every single time I pulled the trigger, that's where I was holding. So I was just letting the wind do its thing. I wasn't trying to control it at all. So definitely a lot more horizontal, but also really happy with the vertical there. So definitely something to this. I've got some more plans to do more testing, but I like what it's doing. I like how I'm feeling about it. You know, I don't know where it's going to go. You know, I know I keep saying it. I know others keep saying it. But it feels good. So, you know, combining this with my Zero Press so far, I think it has given me some really great stuff to work with. And I'm feeling really great about it right now. So, more testing in about a day and a half. I've got, I don't really have any big matches coming up that I'm going to be testing it on, but I am going to be taking kind of some of my results here and doing some 1,000-yard testing, I believe, next week. So it'll be really great to see how, by that time, obviously, where I'm at with it, how I'm feeling about you know, what the numbers are telling me and then what that actually shows at 1,000 yards. So still having fun. Appreciate you guys coming along for this. I know it's pretty rocky. You know, it's not your typical kind of video, so I appreciate you hanging in there, and you guys have a good one.